3. Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Look who I found. Aiden is in the house. Yeah.
Hey, what a pleasant surprise.
I know. Oh my gosh. Hey guys. It's been so long since I've been on a camera on YouTube.
Well, you're
We
on
missed you.
tonight, so good.
I know. I miss all of you guys too. I've been secretly lurking on everybody's page. And if you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Aiden. I am 20 years old, going to college, and trying to, stay alive in the year of 2024. So
And
And
he's wonderful and he's sweet and he's very good at reading cards.
he's an awesome psychic as well. And Aiden is looking for an internship this summer. What kind of internship are you looking for, Aiden?
great question. This sounds like an infomercial, but
Yes.
That's okay.
I'm a film student at college. I'm a university, and I am looking for a summer film internship, whether that's bringing coffees to studio executives or picking up dog poop off the side of the road. I will do anything to, help out anywhere I am needed.
Okay. And what university are you in?
I go to SMU, the Southern Methodist University.
Okay. Where's that located?
That's in Texas.
Okay. All right. I'm putting in the chat. Help Aiden find an internship.
And in 2 weeks, I get to meet him face to face when I
Yay.
go to Texas. So,
That'll be fun.
yeah. I'll be in California in 2 weeks. I'm flying out on the 10th. I'll be there a couple of days, getting my new car, and then driving back, and several people to see along the way. And Aiden will be our last stop because he's the last one before I get to my state. So
Now, Aiden, you're working on your bachelor's degree?
Actually, my Bachelor of Fine Arts. So at my school, there's a BA and a BFA. I just learned the difference recently, but the BFA, I think there's more classes and courses I have to take. So
It's like acting
yes.
and editing, and so are you majoring in film editing or acting? What is your major?
Well, the major that I'm majoring in is it's just called a film BFA, but there's different parts of it that you can
what's your
use.
concentration?
Yeah, I think I'm really good at directing. So, because I used to be an actor, like a child actor, and so I know what it feels like to be directed by even a adult. Thank you so much, Tarot Lounge. Also,
Hello, Pro Lounge.
yeah, I'm also a really good editor. So I've been editing. Even today, I was in the editing room for 6 hours editing a short film, plus classes on top of that. So editing, screenwriting, and directing are probably my top 3.
And he's also good at doing YouTube stuff because he manages my YouTube channels, and he's the one that puts the thumbnails up and all of that stuff. And I text him, Aiden, I got a show coming up. Can you help me out? He's always there, so he does a great job.
I appreciate
Every
that.
time I've had a question or needed help, all I had to do was ask Aiden.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. I feel like a lost puppy. Like help us return this lost puppy.
You'll have to give me a tutorial on how to use Canva and stuff like that to do thumbnails. I still use you, but people want me to do thumbnails. I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, well, I'll teach
Well, when
you
you
one
do
of
a
these.
show with me, I do the thumbnails for you and just email them, and all you got to do is load them in. It's ready to go.
That's how I've learned to use it. But I'm sure he's a good teacher as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah, actually, I always wanted to be a teacher, and then I got into film. I used to have like my own little. Well, I didn't have my own little, but I used to be a preschool teacher when I was 18 or 19, and I had my own little room with like 25 3-year-olds, and I was the little preschool teacher. I was like, come on, guys, let's wash up for lunch.
Shoot me now.
Phyllis Leone says, Aiden, hi, not sure this fits, but my son went to, there you go. Thank you. I can't star up because I
Yeah, I know. You don't have,
I don't have the,
I haven't made you co-host, whatever. I forget.
So-
I forget about it.
So Aiden, if they want to contact you in the event that somebody has an idea for you to have an internship, how do they contact you?
You can reach me at Aiden, Aiden, Inc., Inc., number 2, Aiden Inc. 2 at gmail.com.
Okay. You want to repeat that again?
Aiden, Inc. 2 at gmail.com.
All
It's
right.
in the chat.
Phyllis Leone says, Aiden, hi, not sure this fits, but my son went to G-Star High School. It's an acting and film school. They may have suggestions for you. I can give you the phone number if you'd like. Good luck. Okay,
Thank
Phyllis.
you so much. Thank you, Phyllis.
So Phyllis, now you know how to contact Aiden. So
I'll put his email in the chat. So
there you go.
And if for whatever reason you're not able to connect, you can reach me or Mel and we'll hook you up.
We'll hook you up.
Thank you.
That's right.
For a fee.
As we stay down here, we'll hook you up. Yeah, we get a 5% finder's fee.
And I'm sure you'll find an internship. My prediction is I'm sure you'll find an internship for this summer. And I know psychically and with my entire being that you'll do very, very well in the internship. So
he's going to be very successful at it. I've already seen that. So.
And it's going to be more than just, running to get a cup of coffee for the executive. It'll be a good teaching experience.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you all, everybody that's being so kind. I appreciate it.
We need to give Arthur a buzz and let him call some of his contacts.
I'm going to be on Arthur's show tomorrow night, so I'll talk to him
tomorrow night. So yeah.
And also, Aiden, I see you getting a master's degree.
Really?
Yep. You'll say, no, I'll make it done. I see a master's degree.
Well, I can't wait for that to happen.
Good.
It will. It will. I've seen nothing but good stuff for you all along. So,
hi, Joe.
I'm just so thrilled to have you here. Quick, say hello to everybody. Wow, we got a room full of people. We already got 183 people in the house.
Rose Bloom says, Aiden,
holy moly.
Rose Bloom says, Aiden, you got some good hair. Yeah, at least he's got hair.
Doesn't he have beautiful hair? Mine looks like straw right now.
Mine's waving bye-bye, but
And I just went and got it cut and done Friday, and today it looks like straw because the wind's been so strong down here. We got a bad storm coming in. And every time I walk out the door, my hair feels like it's going to fly off my head.
Well, mine's falling out real quick, but grass don't grow on a busy street.
There you go.
Doesn't grow in concrete either, but
I got more than enough. I can send you some, Mel.
Well, send me a both, girlfriend.
I have very, very, very thick hair. When I go to the hairdresser, half of the cutting is just thinning it out because I have so much hair. And the hairdressers are always like, your hair is so thick. And I'm like, yeah, it's always been like that. But anyhow, so Mel, how was your trip? How was St. Croix?
Well,
so jealous.
It was a treat I celebrated my 70th birthday on March the 22nd.
That's right. Happy birthday.
Right. But we went down the week before. We were there for 8 days. We stayed with our friends, high friends in St. Croix. And I met a producer when I was down there. She's one of the producers for Face the Nation. And that was really cool. We had a very good time. In fact, in 2025, right around Halloween, we're going to do a intuitive seminar down in St. Croix. So I went down there to look at venues to do some seminars, and so it's going to be really neat. And we've got one coming up in September here in Chicago. So it was fun. And then yesterday for my birthday, my husband took me to see On Your Feet. and it was closing here in Chicago. It was the last day, and it's a story of Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan, and they played all of our music, the conga, and yay, and it was just so cool. I love Latin music, and then we went to one of my favorite hotels in Chicago, the Palmer House, and we had dinner, and then on my birthday we went to my favorite restaurant in Chicago, Mykonos, and had Greek food and got to move to Greek music, and yay.
That's fun.
Yeah, we had a good time. So
that's
anyway.
awesome. That's awesome.
But I'm
well,
excited.
A big hello.
I'm excited to have Aiden back. Yay!
I know, me too. He popped up out of the blue on me in the chat the other night when I was doing my Golden Girls show, and I was like, "Oh my God, Aiden!" I snagged him in the chat. I said, "What you doing Monday night?"
Hi, Jolyn. How are you? I see Jolyn.
We got all kinds. Yes, I did. I had a tiara on just a little bit ago. I'll put it back on just for you. We had an emergency last-minute live stream an hour ago. Me, Marina, Helen, Irish Granny Tarot, and Allie from Heart Center, from Heart Soul Connected, and Marina from Heart Center Tarot.
All wonderful people, by the way.
Yes, and lovely, lovely, lovely women I enjoy being with. We had a emergency WTF show.
What happened?
Well, Trump had his $450 million bond that he was supposed to pay today reduced to $175 million.
Yeah, then he was crying broke. He didn't have the money, the 475, and now he's saying, "Oh, I've got the money," because he wants the voters to think now he's got the money. Do you have it or don't you? I got a funny feeling he's going to try to scarf out on paying the rest of that money, but the court's going to say
that. Well, I was just reading an article by Mary Trump, his niece, who talked to one of the to a former prosecutor who was explaining to her exactly what happened. And she said that technically he didn't win anything. Yeah, he got a reduction on the bond. So that money is now safe and secure. It belongs to New York State now. He can't get it back. But at the same time, his lawyers evidently pulled some shenanigans in the courtroom that really ticked off the judge. And so they didn't do him any favors, to say the least. And he's still gaining, what is it, $110,000 a day in interest that's accruing on that settlement that he's supposed to pay out. So,
well, the thing that bothers me about what that is he seems to get by with so much, but then he was crying broke, but yet who knows how he got the 175 million. But now he's saying he's got the money, but I think
I think we could look across the ocean to an R country or maybe an A country.
I didn't want to go there.
Well, I don't mind because I just spent an hour spewing and venting, so we were all having ourselves a blast with it.
Oh no, we know he's got to pay the $500 million, Cheryl. Cheryl says,
yeah,
the bond, but he's going to try a lot of legal maneuvers to keep from having to pay that money, but he will have to pay it. So,
and if he doesn't pay it, then they're going to take all of his stuff.
Well, I still see that
what's left and what's not mortgaged to the hilt, because he doesn't own that much stuff anymore. He really doesn't. He leases his name.
Well, he always
on buildings. Yeah, but he doesn't. He doesn't own that many. Yeah, he just has his name on it. And the buildings, the stuff that he does own, from what I was reading last week, is mortgage to the hilt. So
I can't wait to see his name come up, Trump Tower in Chicago. Getting It Right has a good point here. Getting It Right says the lesser amount for the bond is only while he appeals. If
right.
appeal is denied, which it will be, he has to pay the full amount. I think he should have. I think he should have been given 24 hours to post the reduced bond, not 10 days. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Right. But
absolutely.
I think the court's trying to do everything right because they're going to want to dot all the I's, cross all the T's, because they know that he'll try anything to appeal. So they want to make sure that he doesn't win on appeal. That's what's going on.
Sheila Treasure Finder, honey, I can't wait till the day when that name is never mentioned again.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
Kathy
see
Reagan's
yeah, Kathy.
is asking, did Trump get overseas funding to secure the bond? That's something that's being looked into from the article I read earlier.
He did. He got help under the table.
I mean, I'm sure he did, but legally they haven't proven that yet.
They'll
And
find
I don't know if it's allowed according to our court systems.
Well, and then when all of a sudden he says, I've got money, but first he didn't have money. I don't have the money. Now I've got the money. Well,
and then he just had a big old thing about he wrote this big thing on his Truth Social about some golf tournament he held at Bedminster, I think it was, and how all these great players were there, but he won. He won all the trophies. He was the best. And evidently the president congratulated him on Truth Social and said, "Oh, Donald, that's nice. So glad you won." And that came from the President Biden. So
Becky Gilbert came up with something funny. I won't say the S word because we're live, but she says you can't say SH whatever or get off the pot because it will be the worst mess. Good shot, Becky.
You know what? I think
that's a good one.
Hold on.
I think that I do agree. I think he's definitely getting overseas money from whoever, and then but he's also cashing out like IOUs. Like he's done a lot for people overseas, and I think that he's finally cashing out on those. Oh, I remember when I did this. You now owe me this. You're gonna help me get out of this mess that I.
And if I'm president, I'll do this for you, right?
Yeah, it keeps on going back and forth.
And they're not going to get that money back. So there you have it. Lorraine Orr says, will the fools following him ever admit they are wrong? Some of them, but not all. I mean, there's some people coming forward now saying that they would never vote for Trump. So who were Trump supporters. So
that's it. No, it's, I mean, you're talking about cognitive dissonance here. You know, you've got people that have completely bought into the entire lie of who and what he is. And when they start getting shown and proven that that's all a lie, then literally, biologically, chemically, the brain can't handle both truths. You know, it's like they have to admit just how wrong they were in order to accept the actual truth of it. And for some people, they're just not able to do that. So they're going to just...
Or they use cognitive dissonance, that mechanics of that to explain it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dan's in the house. Hi, Dan. Dan's a great artist. His artwork is phenomenal. And Dan's son, I just think, was accepted into a doctoral program. So congratulations, Dan. Oh, that's a good question by, is it Rossi or Rosie?
Rossi wrote that. Yeah, Rossi.
Aiden, you want to read it?
Okay. Do you think the judge did this to see if they can track the foreign money?
Yeah. But
I don't think that's why. But I do think that they're going to be trying to see if it's from foreign money. And it is, by the way. I think it will be foreign money. But they're not going to be able to track where it's coming from.
Exactly. Well, they're going to prove that he's going to have to show where he got the money. Because remember, he said he didn't have it. And all of a sudden he's got it. But
yeah, those are just the IOUs coming in.
I agree. The paper trail.
Absolutely. Rebecca said, how about all the pardons? That should total a little bit. Yeah, you would think.
Becky's
I
coming.
mean, you had people asking for pardons before they were even accused of doing anything wrong. It's like, okay, so you must know something if you think you need a pardon and no one's accused you of anything.
Right. Well, Jenny said, the same Jenny that's in the comments now said they won't be able to trace it. Oh, they'll be able to trace it. Trust me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They'll know. Let's see. Rose Blue had a question.
Well,
Baron just turned 18. Last week before last, something like that. He just turned 18. So,
well, his mother will make sure, Baron's mother will make sure that Baron gets a nice chunk of change.
oh yeah, because doggone well, all those renegotiations of her prenup have been to make sure that Baron gets his share of everything.
Absolutely.
And let's see, getting it right. That's a
That
good
is
point.
so true. I have said that. My guides have shown me that since day one, that everything with Trump is transactional. If it doesn't have a transactional value to Trump, then it's worthless to Trump. So to Trump, the word love, morality, guilt, remorse, it means nothing. He is, in my opinion, a malignant narcissist and a sociopath. He only takes,
Absolutely.
getting it right is absolutely right. He only takes. And he doesn't care if he owes the money. He thinks, people like Trump think what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. And if I want it, I'll take it. And you can't say anything about it. And then if I don't get it, I'm going to assassinate your character to make you look bad because you didn't give it to me. That's Trump's modus operandi. And
Yep.
he doesn't care if he owes money to people. Doesn't care at all. He's just going to he's finding willing victims. That's what he likes.
Exactly.
Change.
What you think, Aiden? You're being very quiet.
I totally agree. I'm letting you guys, get your thoughts in, but I totally agree. I think that what Trump does is it equates to what a 5-year-old toddler would do. Smash and grab, this, what we're
I
seeing
just
right
realized
now,
I had that spell on my head.
what we're seeing right now is just a bunch of, toddler-like behavior. And I totally agree with what someone said in the chat earlier. There's going to be one day where we won't have to even say Trump's name. It'll be like Voldemort, he who should not be named.
Yeah.
And even history books will reflect that. I see history books in elementary schools, middle schools, talking about how damaging Trump was as a president and as a human being. So I see that happening.
Good. That made my day. Thank you, Aiden.
Yep. Yeah. Mercury Angel saying just what Aiden was saying. He did. He really opened the doors for everyone to see just where our weaknesses were. I mean, we're damn lucky he was an idiot.
And he
didn't succeed in what he tried to do. But
he also proved how precarious our democracy really is, and how it can easily be changed, and it's still not out of the woods. It's still pretty fragile. Our democracy is very fragile.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of it is all of our own faults for going to sleep at the wheel. Thinking, oh, we got this. Everything's taken care of.
We have to take a collective responsibility in this.
Yeah, because there's
no, we don't need. We still, those of us that are speaking up, is like, okay, we're doing our civic duty. We're saying that Trump is wrong, and we're speaking up because we have our voices and we have the vote, which they'd like to take away from us. Trump would like to take that away from us, but they won't succeed.
Well, and it's, I mean, when he won in 2016, It took me a week before I could get out of bed. That's how physically ill it made me. That man won. I couldn't. I had cognitive dissonance. It was like I cannot comprehend that this man won. And then once I kind of came out of the depression and started thinking about it, my first thought was, he's going to be the best damn thing to happen to this country because he's going to show us everything that needs to be fixed.
And then some things that we thought didn't even need to be fixed.
Need fixed. Yeah, it's exactly. And then that's exactly what he's done. I mean, he's done exactly that. He showed us. I mean, and if we don't shore up all the holes and all the weak walls, the next one that comes along, God forbid, maybe somebody that's intelligent.
If somebody were smart and like a Donald Trump and intelligent, we'd be in real trouble.
Yeah. If we had someone like Putin that became president, or who,
or Hitler,
yeah, it's Mussolini. That was another one that just. I mean, these men didn't start out at the end of what we all know them to be. That's not where they started. They started out making everything seem like we need to go this way. We need to take care of this. These people are, they're vermin, they're vile, they're animals, or what, I mean, they had to make.
Look,
yeah, exactly.
The Mexicans and the Muslims and this and that, he's the same way, but he just wasn't as smart about things. Here's a good question. Can I bring it up?
Sure.
Sheila Treasure Finder says, what about the IRS looking at the money? And I'm not an accountant, but I'm just curious if indeed he did get that money or some of it from foreign sources. And I am convinced that he did. Is that taxable? Now that he can say it's a loan, but is it?
I'm trying to find it.
Sheila Treasure Finder says it's right after getting it right that everything's transactional. I'll just read it. What about the IRS looking at the money? And that was her question. And I think it was a really good question. But if he says it's a loan, and he uses it for the bond money, does he still have to pay tax on that money if it's a loan? If he defaults on the loan, then I guess so. I don't know. But
I don't know. I'm not sure what the rules are with that. It's
right.
So much of what we've operated from for so many years was what we thought was law that we discovered was just a gentleman's agreement, and we no longer had gentlemen in leadership that followed that way of being, so yeah, we've got a lot of holes we got to patch.
I want to ask a question to Aiden. Aiden, what do you think is going to happen with Truth Social? Kathy Reagan's asked the question, do you see a foreign entity buying a Truth Social? I see Truth Social going down the tubes is what I see. My guides tell me it will not last.
Yeah, definitely. I think there will definitely be some negotiations. Trump's always behind the scenes trying to climb his way out of the gutter. And I do think that there are going to be some negotiations. But I did, while we were talking, I pulled some cards on how Trump feels right now, because I just want us to get a look at what he's feeling.
Good.
First thing, I drew 3. The first thing I got was the card of fear.
Ooh.
So underneath all that, combativeness
bravado,
and stubbornness, yeah, he's scared. He's in pain. That could be from his whatever he had left of his social image going down the drain, or it could be like physical health. He's in pain. And the last card I got was the death card. Maybe the death of the whole Trump image as we know it. So we'll see how it turns out.
It's not the death of democracy, though, correct?
No, it's about how Trump's feeling. So
Oh,
it wouldn't be about. I don't think he thinks about democracy at all. I think he probably thinks about communism.
he doesn't even think about that. He just cares about greasing his own pockets and how much power he can hold on to.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. We had a question from Tropics 10 who wanted to know if we saw Puerto Rico becoming an actual state.
I
And
think
do we see it happening anytime soon? Is what
I think
I'm
ultimately
guessing.
that Puerto Rico will become a state. At some point, I think the U.S. Virgin Islands would become states because I keep seeing like 51 states, but it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen tomorrow at 2:30.
I got like
No.
the number 15, like 15 years out or so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Um,
It's I pull the devil, which is number 15.
Oh my gosh.
So that was just just picked up the deck and pulled one. It was like, okay.
Wow, I still got it. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Let's see. Jay Roberts says, have you seen the clip of people complaining on the border about being invaded by border Nazis and Republicans?
that's ridiculous. I have to laugh at that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, our new governor just sent our National Guard to Texas to go protect the border from the hordes of immigrants fleeing and coming over the border.
There's not that many.
And when they interviewed some of the guys, they were like, "Where's the people at? There's nobody here."
That's my point. There's not these hordes of people coming across the border. They make it look like that there's these, boatloads of people coming across the border every 10 or 15 minutes, and people go down there and there's like nothing there. It's just hype. It really is hype, and it plays on people's xenophobia. It plays on people's fear, and it's going to blow up in their faces. I'm telling you, it's not going to work at some point, like right now.
Yeah,
People,
I bet if the roles were reversed and like Canadians were the ones coming into the country, they wouldn't have a problem with it.
that's a good point.
Yeah, that's because they're the right color. I mean, something that I remember going with my mother to march in the 60s was civil rights and equal rights and women's rights in the 60s and 70s. I went with her on some of these marches, and I never thought that I would have to fight for the same thing all over again. You know, it just really, I'm just glad she is not here to witness it, because how discouraging would that be to know that you spend a good portion of your life fighting for these things, to turn around and have idiots just take it back up again and act like there's something brand new. So
If she were here, she'd be doing the same thing she did back then.
she'd be doing, absolutely. My mom would. You better believe it.
Yeah, and I do think it's important to believe or to think to know that it's kind of like the tango. This is how the world works. We're always going to take 3 steps forward and 1 step back. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. I think it's the natural progression of things. Things are not going to get easier. Just in 5 years, there are some difficulty. That's all a part of life. We're learning how to cope and how to comprehend what's going on in the world, and it just pulls people together.
Well,
That's what it does.
as my earbuds decided to die. Try again. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. For whatever reason, my earbuds just started acting up. I lost my train of thought. Okay.
Happens to me all the time.
And when your mother dies from dementia, when you lose your train of thought, you get that moment of panic when you're like, oh my God, am I losing my mind?
Oh,
And
you
then
don't,
I hear my guide say, "No, you're fine."
Sherry, you'll never have dementia. You don't have to worry about it. That's my
Oh,
side.
thank God. Good. I'm glad because that's the one thing that's always worried me. Um, just because I saw how horrible it is up close and personal, and it's like I don't want to go like that. So just like I told my son, if they stick me on machines to keep me alive, pull the plug. I said, if I survive, great. And if I don't, you better cremate me because if you bury me, I'm coming back to haunt you. So
Jolynn Shrimsky comes up with a good point. She says, aloha. One of the main things we must remember is to vote, vote,
vote, vote.
vote.
Absolutely. That is the most important thing. I mean, Taylor Swift's got all her Swifties registering. Now we got a yeah, there's one right above me there.
Yeah, I love her.
I do too. I absolutely adore Taylor Swift. I remember when she first broke onto the scene, she was like 15, 16, something like that.
And
And I adored her then and
yeah.
I adore her still. So but yeah, I mean that's why the right is so terrified of her.
Yeah. She's
because
gonna be
she know that
a whole and she's gonna be influencing so many people this election.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And not once have I heard her say vote Democratic or vote for Joe Biden or vote for this. All I've heard her say to any of her people is register. Register, get informed, go vote. That's all she says,
Because certain
Now,
factions don't want people to vote and want to restrict their rights to vote because they want to hang on to power, which is not cool.
Yeah, exactly. Arwen the Gray asked if NBC will listen to all the backlash. Oh, they hired Ronna McDaniel. I didn't even know that. See, that's what happens when you don't have TV anymore.
I don't see her working for NBC long. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Two of Cups reversed, and that's all about, fights and tensions. So I don't think it'll work out good for her.
Monica
Good.
Monica brings up a good point. And my guides have shown me this for a long time. Monica says, NATO has been our guardrail and has worked. Trump wants to break it. I am going crazy thinking any American thinks that is a good idea. They can't have stayed awake during history class. The reason that Trump wants to weaken NATO is because Putin wants NATO dismantled. Because Putin's idea is if he can dismantle NATO, then he can take back all those countries that were from the former Soviet Union or satellites thereof, and it's not going to work.
Oh, and that's why he's flipping out now that what was it, Sweden, Finland? Which one just joined them? One of them just joined, and the other one's getting ready to join.
Sweden and Finland.
Yeah, and two countries that said they would never get involved. They were middle of the road. And we're going to stand back from it. And
Putin is the same one who said that as Sweden and Finland joined, he would think about using or deploying nuclear weapons, and they joined and nothing happened. So Putin wants NATO.
I don't think his nuclear weapons work.
Well, I'm sure some of them do. I wouldn't want to put
maybe,
it to the test.
Maybe all it takes is one, but
I wouldn't put it to the test. But Putin wants NATO dismantled. Just like when Trump said, well, any NATO country that hasn't paid its dues, if Putin wanted to go in, I wouldn't say anything and take them over. Well, hello. A lot of the newer countries in NATO were poor Eastern European countries. They couldn't afford to pay those dues. And so it was dangerous for Trump to even say something like that. And so.
Linda Bishop said they've already fired her.
I didn't know that. I didn't either. I still see NATO staying around for a while, everybody. For a long, long while.
Well, and people have to realize why NATO was formed to begin with.
Right.
And that was to prevent another world war and to stop these megalomaniac dictators from deciding, oh, I think I'm going to own the world today. So let's just go out and attack people. Um, let's see.
So they already fired
We
her.
had,
That was quick.
yeah, somebody got their brains in gear. Joan Baker wants to know, do we think if 45 will be able to appeal the April 15th trial date in New
They'll
York?
try to delay the trial, but it's not going
Yeah,
to work. It
no.
might be delayed a couple of times, but it's not going to be delayed that far. And so it's not going to look good because I intuit that he's going to be found guilty. Aiden, what do you think about it?
Just got the surrender card.
Ooh.
Surrender. He's gonna have to, you know, surrender to whatever they make him do, or he's gonna have to flee. That's
What do you think, Shari?
Everything that I've been reading on with a lot of this, because a lot of times at night when I'm just watching other people, and I'll just sit and toss cards for myself and see what's going on, and I keep getting that, because isn't this the is the let me make sure I'm thinking of the right trial. Is this the civil trial or the criminal trial?
Criminal.
That's the April 15th. Okay, if it's the criminal one,
A hush money from about
no.
Stormy.
Okay, no, he's not going to be able to back out of that. I think that's pretty much set in stone, because his lackey down in Florida tried to screw up the balance of everything with all that she's been doing, trying to postpone court dates and whatnot. And some of the other uh, DAs have said, prosecuting attorneys have said, "Oh, you're not going to do it for a while? We got time. We can do ours right now." And so what she thought was going to help Trump is not going to help him at all. But I don't see him. I don't see him being able to get out of that at all. Okay, N Rivers asked, "Will Rick Scott in Florida win re-election?"
I see
Is
a
that the one that looks like a Q-tip with no hair? I want to say something else, but I'm going to be nice
I
tonight.
know. YouTube jail. I see a Democrat in that position.
Yeah, I think Florida is ready for some decency to come back. I lived in Florida back in the 60s and the 70s, and it was a blue state, or at least a very dark purple state. It had one of the best public education systems in the country. Um, they used the Montessori method to teach, and they were considered top in the country as far as their public education. And then I'm not sure. I mean, we moved away in the early 70s, so I'm not sure when things started flipping for Florida, but yeah, the next thing I knew, they were like going off the deep end with all this stuff. I was like, what the hell happened to Florida? I mean, when did this happen? But I do see it, like Mel was saying earlier, the pendulum's can only swing so far, and then it's going to go back the other way. And we're kind of at the apex, I think, or pretty close to it swinging one way, and now it's got to come back. And it's just going to be, how many people does it get to knock off the balance beam on its way back? So
What do you all think about Eileen Cannon? That stupid ruling that she tried to make. What she did, she has no idea of what this case is about. The Trump document papers. She has no idea
no.
about. She keeps, coming up with stuff that is so far removed from the case. And so she's already wanting them to give instructions to jurors and wants them to respond. There's not even a jury yet. It's like I heard a lawyer say, it's like she's asking Jack Smith to respond to say, well, I'm saying that you have to respond to, is the world flat or is it square? It's like, It makes no sense. It's illegal what she's doing. And
Yeah.
my feeling is his response to her is he's going to say it's illegal for me to respond because your directive is illegal.
Yeah, I mean,
but at some point, I see the 11th Circuit Court removing her from this from the documents case. That's what I see. I could be wrong. What do you all see? What do you see, Shari and Aiden?
well, when I pulled cards on it about a week ago, because somebody had asked me this very question or very similar, as far as that's going, I don't see her staying. I keep seeing her getting told, okay, you're either going to step off or you're going to not be a judge anymore. And this is your decision. You decide.
It's pretty obvious
So
she's from the Trump.
She doesn't know what she's doing. I don't know how the hell she became a judge to begin with. Trump. Somebody paid somebody off. I mean, but yeah, I'm sure she paid enough for it. But she doesn't know what she's doing. So
yeah, I totally agree with you, Shari. I think that she's not going to be, I'm not really like knowledgeable into this stuff, but when I read on Eileen, I don't think that she's going to be on this case for any longer. Like I do agree with you. I think she's going to be either threatened and taken off, or she's going to quit.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't have a clue about what the case is about. She's basing it on civil stuff. She's not even basing this on criminal stuff. And she keeps saying that, presidential almost immunity, or the president has certain rights, but he doesn't have the rights to take those documents. And she just doesn't get it. Or she does get it. Maybe she does get it, but if she's taking her play by play from the Trump team, that is pretty obvious. And I see the 11th Circuit Court removing her at some point. So, and it's a stall tactic because they're thinking if they can wait until after the election, then if Trump wins, this will go away. And
you know what? I was just
okay. I'm gonna do a squirrel minute real quick. Squirrel. We're gonna change.
Oh, okay.
Deborah's asking how to get in touch with you. We put his address in the
chat. I messaged her in the chat.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure you saw that. Okay.
No, I did, but thank you.
Back to business.
I was reading on that last one if Rick Scott will get reelected. I don't know which one's the Democratic or Republican nominee, but I do think
Scott's the Republican.
Yeah, I do think that Rick Scott won't be reelected in this upcoming primary or whatever. And because I also got the Page of Cups, which is all about new energy, especially like youthful, new, vibrant energy coming into play. I also do think that there might be some legal stuff happening with Rick. So stay on the lookout for all that happening.
Well, he was charged and tried and somehow managed to get out of it back in the day for a severe case of Medicare fraud. He had something to do with the insurance companies and whatnot. I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but I remember people talking about it.
Someone asked a question. Wait, are Melania and Trump still married?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's
and
crazy.
If their marriage was arranged by Putin.
I don't see that. I don't think so.
I don't think that Putin had anything to do with it. I do think that there were people in the know that knew what kind of person Trump would go for and very strategically placed her because they were all part of that inner group of Epstein and Ghislaine and all of them, trafficking children and all those young girls that they had. It's just, it's makes me sick in the stomach when I think about it.
I definitely think that what their relationship isn't what it used to be now, definitely. I get the isolation card. So it's just like there's one little dot in the center of this card. And but you know what? I do feel like Melania fears that if she leaves him early, or he's gonna like spill the secrets about her. I do think like she has some fears, like, oh, I can't leave him. I'm gonna be on my own, first of all, even if she already feels like she's isolated. Second of all, she fears that, Trump's gonna talk some trash about her.
Yeah, but the flip side of that is she's got a lot on him too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure. I just think that
And the
she's.
thing of it is she's just as narcissistic as he is.
I think she's staying with him because it's easier, to the degree that he's got his life, she's got her life, and at some point when it's over and done, she'll get her share of some money, and that'll be the end of it. But I do agree with Aiden to a degree, because I think she was fearful for Barron. But now that Barron's 18, guess what? But you're right, Shari. In my opinion, she's as narcissistic as Donald is. So
her supposed best friend that she threw under the bus back in the day, during for the inauguration stuff, that they, that this woman who was an event planner, that's what she did, and helped them plan everything. And when money started getting funny and she started taking it to them saying, this isn't right, they started overriding what she said. And what kept her butt out of prison was the fact that she kept receipts and she kept emails and whatnot. And but she said, in her book, she said that, looking back now, she can see that Melania was just a female version of Trump. She's the same narcissistic. All she cared about was being able to go shopping and spend money and be seen and go into the fancy restaurants and have everybody bow down to her,
her relationship with Donald Trump was a business proposition on her part. It was to make money.
Absolutely.
It was a transaction.
Absolutely.
Here again, transaction.
I mean, do what you got to do. I mean, Melania back in the 1980s or 90s, she probably didn't think that any of this would happen. But I think I was going to say she grew as a person, but I think she shrunk as a person. Her morals shrunk. And now, they're in the swamp.
Well, she'd do anything to be well known and to have some power, I mean, I think you're right. If she even had any morals, but she's got to have a few, because she really cares about her son. But I think that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
But when I heard Trump talk about say he wasn't for chain immigration, giving people their green cards and stuff like that, but yet his wife didn't have a green card. Melania didn't have one. He married her. Okay. She gets a green card. Then all of a sudden, her whole family gets their green cards.
Yeah. Her mother just died too. But she managed to get her parents brought over here and made citizens so they could stay.
Right.
So
immigration, Donald. I mean, the hypocrisy. What I see an end to is this hypocrisy, these double standards. Trump gets by with it. Some of the MAGAs get by with it, but you let the rest of us try it. Oh, that's wrong. When people do the same thing that they're getting by with, these double standards are going to end. I see an end to it.
You know what? I totally think that when Trump was president and he didn't have anybody behind him or anybody like making him do, what the people want, I think when it comes down to it, I think he really wouldn't care where the people come from as long as they're visually appeasing to his eyes. Like that's all he cares about. Because Melania, if she was not good looking, he would have not married her, and she wouldn't have gotten that green card from him.
Right.
Exactly.
It was all about
Mercury Angel. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Mel.
Trump didn't see Melania as a person. He saw her as a possession, a bauble, an ornament he could have on his arm and say, look what I've got. It's mine.
Yeah. And there's been people who have testified that he would say that to other men who would, Google his wife and be like, yeah, she comes home with me. She's not for you. It's like, excuse me. Yeah. Okay, Mercury Angel said that she saw Stormy on The View and that she is ready to go as far as trial for this.
Oh,
she is chomping at the bit.
She's not going to step down. My guides have been all along with Trump. The women will bring him down. And that's exactly
absolutely.
Fonnie Willis, Stormy Daniels, Jean Carroll. The women will bring him down.
And to follow up with Stormy and Melania, will the Bidens be able to put the Rose Garden back in? They're already working on that.
The answer to that is yes.
But a lot of those plants, they can't move at certain times of the year. And some of them were damaged and can never be put back. But they did, the White House gardeners did everything they could to preserve what was removed so that it can be put back. And it's just they have to do it in a certain way.
I think they took it out because they wanted a walkway or for some convenience.
Yeah, she was doing something where she was going to go down that walkway and she didn't want all the trees and flowers blocking her view or the camera's view of her. It's like, well, it must not have been a very damn good cameraman if they could figure out how to shoot around some flowers, or frame them in such a way that it enhanced what she was doing, Yeah.
Rose Bloom, good question. She said, I'll bet 45 will defame Stormy and she will sue him. And both of those are absolutely accurate, Rose Bloom.
Oh, yeah.
He'll defame her and she's going to sue him and she's going to win. That's what I see.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because he can't keep his mouth shut when it comes to anybody who has stood up against him, belittled him, questioned him, accused him, because he's never said that he didn't do any of this stuff. All he's ever said was that he had a right to do it.
Right.
Or she was asking for it, She wanted it to happen.
With,
one breath he's saying, I never saw her before. And the next breath it was, she wanted that to happen.
The same with the documents case. Oh, I just used my magic index and I just thought they were declassified and they were. No, it doesn't work that way.
Exactly. Lorraine Orr said, what would happen if Mexico wants their territory back? That's funny.
A little bit of it back. We could be like dual citizens. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be like, how many people that live down there that don't want any Mexicans around them, and suddenly if they were, you're the illegal immigrant, it's I think it would be funny.
We've got Kevin, the healing medium, in the house. Hi, Kevin.
I see that. Hi, Kevin. And we're going to have to pull you in here for one of our nights.
There you go.
Absolutely. And let's see.
And we've got to get back to month predictions. Remember how we used to do that? We've got to do that.
Yeah, we have to do that.
Go.
All right.
This is the last one I had starred because we're now at 58 minutes and I don't want to push anybody over their time. I mean, I've got time to spare, but I don't want to infringe upon your times. So, Garden Genie's asking, why is Poland allowed to be in NATO? And why did they want to be in NATO? Because they didn't want to get bombed.
Well, they want to be in NATO because of the protection, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're allowed to be in NATO. I don't have a clue, but I do know that they're there because they want to be, and it's for protection.
Well, I think they got in right after World War II when it was first
Right.
forming.
Exactly.
So they were one of the countries that was trying to pick up the pieces from Nazism and everything that went on. There's a lot of people that were murdered in Poland. A lot of Polish Jews that were
there were a lot of Polish
sent to.
people. There were a lot of Polish people that were murdered as well. So
Absolutely. When I was 12, I met this woman who had come to that. She would come over to help my mom plan marching and stuff. And she always wore long sleeves, and I never thought anything about it, but she came over one night and she took her sweater off. And I saw a tattoo on her arm. And I was just, because she was an older woman, she was like in her 50s, late 50s, early 60s. And I was just intrigued. I'd never seen a woman with a tattoo, much less an older woman with a tattoo. I think I was around 12 or 13. And I just asked her, I said, "You have a tattoo? Wow. Why do you have a tattoo? Why did you get it?" And she proceeded to tell me about the fact that she was the only survivor of her family from Auschwitz. And that tattoo was what the Nazis did when they took them to the camps. And she was one of the ones. There was a group of them that tried to escape. And in her family, she was the only one that made it out. And, got out and into the woods and down the way, and they found an American camp and who took them in, and protected. It was her and a couple other kids that got away. And but it was a shock to me at that age, because of course we'd all heard about it, but you don't expect to meet somebody that was actually there. And then to have her sit and just tell her story in full detail, because my mom was like, don't hold anything back. Tell her exactly what happened. And boy, she did. It was the best damn history lesson I ever got in my life. And it also changed my whole perspective on history why it's so important.
I think I'm going to close with this because I got to go. I got things to do, but this has been wonderful. Aiden, thank you. We got to do our once a month stuff. Shari, we do it our twice a month stuff, but
we do it twice. We'll be back on I don't remember. I think it's on the 14th.
I had a friend.
We'll be back on the 8th of April.
I have many friends from Germany, but many of them that were, old enough to live in Germany during the Nazi regime have now crossed into spirit. But my one friend I said, "What was it like in Germany?" And she said, her accent was a heavy German accent, but I can't get her accent. But she just said when the air raid sirens would go off, they would go down into the bomb shelters. And she said at the end of the war, and she said they would just shudder. And I said, "Were you afraid of being bombed?" And she said, "No, we were afraid that Hitler would win."
Yeah.
So if you think it can't happen here, it can. It almost did. And we're not out of the woods yet. So
it almost happened here back then. There was a large Nazi movement in this country.
But I'm talking about now.
But now it's happening all over again.
But everybody get out and vote. Don't let the fear stand in front of you and hold you back. Let it get behind you and push you forward, because your vote depends on whether or not our democracy will survive.
Yep.
So I'm going to leave everybody to think about that.
That's it. Go watch Schindler's List, if nothing else, just to get an idea.
People think it can't happen. It can happen.
It can happen.
It's happened since Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
What's going on in Russia? Look what's going on in Gaza. I mean, it's just horrible things. Look what happened in Cambodia with Pol Pot.
Exactly.
Look all of that.
Look what killing fields.
Yeah. Data. Look what happened.
Rwanda. Yeah. It's
It can still happen. So that's
still
what
happening.
I'm going to close with. Let the fear push you forward and vote. Aiden, what do you want to close with?
Thank you guys for embracing me with such a big hug. I really appreciate it. It's been quite a long time, like 10 months since I've done anything on here. And I appreciate all your kindness, all your influence with my internship for this summer. I hope I get one.
You will, I promise.
You will.
And yeah,
Absolutely.
you need to start. I tell people this all the time. Don't say I hope you get something. Say I will get it. So I need to start doing that. So I will
Start
get
saying thank you for giving it to me.
yes. Thank
Very
you.
good point, Shari. Thank you, universe.
Yes. Yes.
I see a
But,
couple options you'll have. So good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shari, what do you want to say to everybody?
Take a deep breath. It's going to be okay.
I'm sorry.
We're going to get.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, just take a deep breath. We're going to be okay. I can't tell you we're going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine, but we're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. Just be aware and vote.
When I said, Shari, what do you got to say? My iPhone thought I said, Siri, what do you have to say? And I can.
I've known several people. Mine's done that too. My Amazon one, I don't know what the name is. Alexa, I think.
Alexa.
Suddenly she'll speak up and I'll be like, no, I'm not talking to you.
See, I can hear things from my phone and my hearing aids, but you guys
Yeah.
I can. So.
Right.
So
well, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for a lovely evening. Aiden, thank you so much for popping into the chat the other night and letting me know you were still around and kicking. And then coming on with us. And Mel, I'm so glad you're back from your trip. And we will be back on the 8th of April because it's the 2nd and 4th Monday evening of the month. So Arthur should be with us on the 8th because it'll be my turn to have him, not Marina's. And we're splitting him up right now. And then that'll be just before I leave for California. And then we'll meet up again after I get back on the 22nd. Yeah. I have to look at the calendar. So.
Okay, Aiden.
Everybody just.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just say everybody have a great night.
Yep. Aiden, we'll do our once a month stuff again too. How's that?
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Looking forward to seeing that.
Thank you guys.
Fun.
Bye, everybody.